What's up, everybody? Jensen Cummings here. Thank you, as always, for tuning in. Today is Best Served Podcast 231, and we're talking starting your restaurant journey. Why the hell are we doing this? This is Best Served New Volume 1, and we are focused with Meta Asian Kitchen on their first episode of Best Served New. Now, Best Served New is a series in which we chronicle and coach up-and-coming entrepreneurs kind of going through the journey of opening their F&B businesses. And so, as always, we focus on why and who before what and how in this crazy industry, because we get so chummed up in the minutia of what we do and how we do it. And we truly, truly believe that why we get out of bed in the morning, and for restaurant people, getting out of bed in the morning can sometimes mean in the afternoon, but why we get out of bed in the morning to do what we do, who it is we serve, who's gotten us to this point, who's in the trenches making it all happen, that's what we believe truly matters. That's who truly matters. And so with no further ado, I would like to bring on Ken and Doris, owner of Meta Asian Kitchen based in Denver, Colorado. Ken and Doris, thanks for being on.
What's up?
Hi.
All right, I'm excited about this. We are starting a journey together. We are 10 weeks. We're going to be here with people going through chronicling and coaching you along the way, finding out about your story, connecting the journey that so many of us have had, so many more will have, and just trying to understand what it actually takes to open a restaurant. And so I want to start with laying the groundwork for people of what's happening currently before we go back a little bit. So Meta Asian Kitchen is a concept that the two of you currently have in the Avanti F&B Eatery, which is a food hall incubator in Denver, Colorado. Can you give us a little bit of the specs, kind of when did you start, and high level what the concept itself is?
Yeah, sure. So we moved into Avanti Food Hall back in October of 2019. And prior to that, we were living in Jersey City. We were doing a bunch of pop-ups in Jersey and all throughout New York. And we always wanted to open a restaurant, but we knew that like New York City wasn't going to be the place that this was going to happen. We just can't afford the rent. We've been to Denver a few times. Ken's sister lives out here. We love it. And we know that there is a lack of Chinese cuisine in Denver. So we felt that if we can open our first F&B location in Denver, it would be awesome. So during my time in New York, I spent a lot of time like just stalking like the different food halls in Denver. Sure. And I cold email everyone, like Denver Central Market, and Milk Market, and Avanti. And, you know, no one really got back to me. And then one day, Avanti said, like Patrick, the owner, sent us an email. And I was like, wait, someone responded to our email. I remember we were shopping at Columbia. I was like freaking out, like, oh my God, they want to meet with us. This was like back in May, I think, of 2019. And we weren't driving out to Denver until July. So we basically set up a meeting with them over email. And once we got here on July 3rd, we set up a meeting with them right away on July 8th.
Yeah, we met up with them the Monday immediately upon arriving to Denver. I had no idea what was going to come of this meeting. Right. I thought it was simple, like meet and greet, like, hey, like welcome to Denver, like, you know, we'll keep you in mind or whatever. So I was just like not stressed about it at all. And like come like Sunday night, right before the morning of our meeting, Doris and my sister Yuen, I'm just like chilling, watching TV, like whatever, right? And they're, are you ready for this meeting tomorrow? Like, do you know what you're gonna say? I'm like, what are you guys talking about? Like, it's just like a, you know, it's whatever. Like, it just.
I'm like, it's gonna be a life-changing meeting. He's like, it's just a meet and greet.
Meet and greet. And then the more they kept talking to me, and this is like midnight, I'm like, I started getting stressed out. So then the next morning, I'm like chugging cold brew, like so I'm like sucking really happy. You know what I mean? And
clearly it was an important meeting for you guys because you ended up in Avanti. So you've been there for some months now. What a auspicious time to start now with 2020 clearly, and maybe we'll touch on that a little bit. But for everybody, kind of the food concept itself, right? Chinese American, that concept for you obviously comes from your heritage and your history. But just give people just a little glimpse. What can they expect from if they were to come to your food stall right now at Avanti, what could they be getting potentially?
Well, I'd say we serve a mixture of kind of like family style, home style, like comfort Chinese cuisine with a mix of things that people are familiar with, things that we grew up eating. I'm from a restaurant family. We own a little takeout spot in Boston, Massachusetts. So it's a good mixture of comfort family style cuisine with kind of like American style Chinese cuisine.
Yeah,
Okay.
a lot of food that we offer too is like food that we eat at home is like dishes that like we make at home, and the two of us are eating and we're like, this is good, like we should put it on the menu. Especially like one of the items like the mama wands that is basically like our signature item is Ken's mom's recipe. He's always like talking about it, like, oh, my mom like makes a spare rib with like Coca-Cola, is so good. So like that's on our menu. Our chicken dumplings are an homage that we pay to all the New York dumpling house that we eat at all the time. When we moved to Denver, we were like, all right, we can't source our dumplings from like the little old Chinese ladies anymore. What are we gonna do? We tried all these frozen dumplings from the markets, and I'm like, oh, we can't serve this stuff. Like, this is not good stuff. So we worked on a dumpling recipe for a few weeks, and when we finally got to the recipe that we have, I tasted it. I'm like, damn, this reminds me of Chinatown. This reminds me of the shit that we were serving back in New York.
Yes.
And like we need to put this on the menu. So like everything that we serve on the menu is things that we like to eat, things that that reminds us of like home and New York, Hong Kong, Boston, Rhode Island, where we're from. So it's just a lot of feel good food, I would say.
Yeah. Well, let's take it back because I love that. This is why you two are compelled to have Meta Asian Kitchen is because of your history. It's because of cooking with mom and eating with mom and having that connection. You want to bring that to other people because it's brought you so much joy. So let's go back there. And Ken, let's start with you a little bit because you mentioned the takeout spot. So legacy kid, you started in the industry. I'm sure you're, shucking something or cleaning something or, whatever.
Bagging takeouts.
That's it.
Cutting onions, peeling onions, like very, very fundamental stuff. I was really young when my parents were operating stuff, and they actually never let me cook because they said it was like too dangerous. And I think part of it is that they didn't want me to like it. You know what I mean? Like they didn't want me to be back there all excited and stuff like that. So they had me do the mundane stuff, like taking the phone orders, bagging food, doing very, very simple mundane tasks. But I mean, being there was awesome. Like I loved being there, like watching my dad cook, my mom cook, getting to eat all the food. Like that was my favorite thing. Like, so I've never been to like a Chinese takeout place. Like the menu's usually like 5 pages long. And I got to eat like I would go down every single item and like, all right, I want to try this today. I want to try this today,
I love the family Chinese restaurant where after school, you see the kids, if you come for like late lunch or early dinner, you see the kids at a table and then like aunties will come by and then the family comes and sits for a while when it's a little bit slow. And then all of a sudden their books are out on the table potentially, or they're all together picking cilantro as like a family and filling up plastic bags. I can see that this is exactly your experience of that kind of camaraderie, that family atmosphere. It's just matter of fact for you, right? Is that the experience that you had?
Yeah. I mean, and it wasn't just me that was working there. I have 3 older sisters. We all spent time in the takeout spot. Our Fridays and Saturday nights were dedicated to working in the restaurant. Like, we couldn't hang out with friends or like, school dances that we missed, all that stuff. And stuff like holidays, like New Year's Eve was huge in Massachusetts for Chinese takeout food. Like it would just, so we missed out on a lot of like things personally, but it would we spent as a family working in the restaurant.
Well, even Chinese food on Christmas Day, especially for a lot of my Jewish family friends, they absolutely that's an iconic thing. I even think of like Christmas Story that turned it into like a cult classic of American. So you're missing even the major quote unquote American holidays because for the Chinese family said, nope, we're going to be working. We're going to make money on these days. This is what we're here to do, to create an opportunity for you all as first generation Americans. There's very much this idea of we're going to work hard in this restaurant day in and day out, not take Christmas or vacations so that you can go become a doctor, engineer. And Doris, I want to kind of move that to you. Did you have some of that experience where they were saying you need to go away from this industry, even though it's something that was so, fundamental to you as a child?
Yeah, I remember telling my mom and dad when I was applying for colleges, I wanted to go to culinary school and become a chef, and they told me, they're like, we work in kitchens. It's sweaty, it's hot in there. Like, you don't want to be in there. They're like, we came here so you can get an education and get a nice job with AC, like sit in the office and, enjoy that AC. Like, they're like, why do you want to be sweating away in the kitchen? So they really discouraged me from applying to culinary school or doing anything in the F&B industry at all. But, in the back of my mind, it was always something that I wanted to do. I always wanted to open up my own restaurant. I remember like on my dad's days off, I love it when he has a day off because he'll just cook just meal deliciousness, right? I'm like, Dad, this shit is so good. You should open up your own restaurant. He's like, oh, I don't want to do all that stuff. It's so much work. I don't want to do it. And I'm like, well, how about you open a restaurant and I run it for you? He's like, no, like crazy. So like in the back of my mind is always what I wanted, to open a restaurant. And even throughout my college career, throughout my professional career, I've always looked for ways to work in a restaurant. Like I'll have my full-time job, I'll get off and I'll work as a hostess. At restaurants in New York and Jersey City. I've taken jobs as a waitress, while working my full-time daytime job. So it's always something that I wanted to get into, learn the ins and outs of running a restaurant. So one day I can open up, my own restaurant. And then I met Ken, and it's just, I feel like all the ducks, what is it? How do you say? All the ducks align. All the ducks in a row.
Yep. Yeah. I love that. All the Peking ducks in a row. It's perfect. Right. Then you fueled each other because both of you wanted it, yet there was this little bit of an anchor kind of pulling you back, saying you need to stay grounded and focused on kind of our goal as a family to get out of the pure labor input that it takes to do a restaurant and get into these kind of, intellectual careers. That's you see that a lot. So I appreciate that. So then, well, let me ask you this. Is your family today finally saying, all right, maybe you're on the right path, or is there still a little bit of this? Are you sure? Are you still sure this is absolutely the direction you want to go?
I know my dad, he's not a very expressive person, like most Asian parents are not. And he texted me when we first moved to Denver. It's getting me a little emotional, but he's like, I'm very proud of you. I'm proud of you guys for doing what you're doing, making the move. So, it means a lot to me. And, they're very happy with our decision.
Yeah,
I love that.
For me, I think my mom, she loves to talk shop sometimes, because she's a chef, she's a cook, she owns a restaurant, she knows how to bang it out. And so a lot of times me and her will chit chat and oh, how do you do this, do that? And we talk shop. And I think that's kind of cool. It kind of brought my relationship with my mom to another level, that a lot of people don't get the opportunity.
Yeah. Okay. I want to go there because now this is very interesting to me because you can especially have worked at some serious spots, right? And you have the street cred and the chops as like a chef who can bang, no doubt, right? You work in super high-end kitchens, and mom's worked, in the Chinese takeout restaurant. Yet I bet there's still dishes that you can't touch her on. That you have all the technique, all the knowledge, and all the skill, yet mom still crushes you. And I have a mom who can cook too. There's some dishes that she cooks. I can't touch them. Even though technically on paper, everything I do is better. It's the secret ingredient I've heard. I love this is in their hands, right? There's this emotional connection, the love, secret ingredient, all of those things. Do you have that experience where still sometimes she's like, son, that's cute. This is still better.
No, I mean, she's pretty humble about stuff, and
show me school Jen how to make a congee.
She doesn't know how to make congee, of course. She also she makes a really good steamed egg that I still have trouble doing sometimes. I think it's temperature. I think that's the key that I'm missing is she knows which temperature to keep it at. But she's pretty cool. She'll I think she's seen how far we've come and where we are right now. And so a lot of times she'll call me like, Dai Chi or whatever, which is like the big chef,
Yeah.
like the big chef is here, and so she'll give me that. And, I she's my mom, so she'll always be number one to me,
Yeah,
Chef.
I really appreciate that. So you touched on some dishes. I want to go there a little bit to really, really understand. You mentioned the dishes that you cook at home and you're like, this shit is fire. It has to be on the menu. You also have those memorable dishes from kind of childhood. I want to connect the dots there a little bit. And again, why you do what you do, because you two you mentioned it a little bit. You kind of have some of that American style that people can expect, yet you're also trying to create something new. And this is a huge challenge because people have this baked in expectation of what Chinese food is. And for you, you're also trying to introduce them to the dishes that you all cook, that was family meal, that the cooks were eating in the back of house because everyone else out front was have General Tso's, which is not Chinese at all, right? So there's a little bit of that at play. Let's talk about some of the dishes that are compelling to you. And Doris, I want to pop over to you now. What are a couple of the things that they just emotionally connect with you, that when you're having this crap day, when the shit hits the fan, when you were too busy and you ran out of stuff, or you were not busy enough, all those things, that you eat it and it takes you back and it just puts you in a place, whatever that place is for you? What's a dish or two that represents that?
Like on our menu?
Yeah.
I think it's the chicken dumplings. The dumpling has been with us since like day one of like Meta's conception. And, whenever like I have a bad day, I know that like when I eat that dumpling and how good it tastes and how many like people come back and tell me like, oh man, those dumplings are so bomb, and they want to order another one. Like, I know that like this is why we do what we do. Like all the hard work, like sweating in the kitchen, like, like carrying the heavy walk, like it makes it all worth it. So, the one dish that makes me feel very happy, very fulfilled inside is our chicken dumplings.
I love that. Ken, for you?
On our menu, I gotta say, is our chicken wings. Deep fried, bone in, dry rub. It reminds me of back in the day when working in New York City, just like grinding out like 6 days a week, 70-hour weeks, getting paid like $600 a week, like making nothing. But I remember you go through a day not eating anything, and I would just eat wings and rice. Just give me those wings and some rice, and that kind of like grounded me. Out of everything that's going on around me, running a restaurant, doing this, managing prep, like I always know these wings and rice is gonna be always what I know it to be to me. And it's gonna taste delicious, and it really kind of keeps me grounded.
Yeah, he's always like, Doris, drop a wing for me in the fryer.
I literally eat probably like every day. It's not even a joke.
Ken's getting a little grumpy. Somebody drop a couple wings. Let's get this boy back in line a little bit. I appreciate that. And what's funny? It's the simple things, right? Especially as chefs who kind of aspired and ascended and, had the accolades and were cooking at a super, super high level. When people are like, what do you eat? Chicken and rice. I literally have like 6, 7 different chicken and rice dishes from my Japanese background to, khao man gai, which I really love, super simple Thai style, to some Chinese style. Literally got fried rice downstairs. I make a giant batch, so I have fried rice for like 4 days because it just makes me feel right. Whatever's going on makes me feel right. And it's the simple things, and I appreciate that. And everyone's going chicken wings. They instantly are going to like the American chicken wing. Let's not get it twisted. The Chinese invented the chicken wing. The Chinese invented most food most food styles. You even see dishes in like Mexico. You're like, wait a minute. That is a Mandarin style dish if I've ever seen one. So I really appreciate hearing that. So as we're going into looking at a brick and mortar location for you, right? You have this food hall incubator. Now we're taking this 10-week journey with you, and your journey is, going to be a lot longer than that to get there. We're going to be week by week kind of breaking down different elements. And so I want to lay down for everybody kind of what to expect going into this series. Each week, the three of us, and we're going to bring on different kind of experts in space, are going to dive into the different topics that we believe are very important. That so often in restaurants, just working in restaurants, we don't think about. We're so focused on the food, the drinks, the service, food costs, labor costs, poor costs. Yet there are so many other things that it takes to really evolve this. And so this is the process that we want to take the two of you through. So we're going to be talking about kind of building your brand, thinking about branding and storytelling, thinking about your employees and the way that you are bringing on your teams. We're going to be talking about budgeting, real estate, marketing, menus, digital ordering, all the things that it's going to take for a restaurant to be successful. So I want to say, the two of you, I'm grateful for the opportunity to work with you on all this, because there are thousands and thousands and thousands of people that are exactly in your situation, that are grinding and hustling, that have a dream, that are bringing it to fruition. And the system is so fucked and so difficult for success, yet you are so passionate. Sometimes the passion consumes you and we make crazy decisions in this industry. I've done it time and time again, and I know what to do, but I get emotional and I make the wrong decision. This happens all the time. And so I appreciate the two of you being open to this process. And so I wanted to thank the two of you and let everybody know that we're going to be in this journey. And I think a lot of people are going to really, really resonate with that. And so these last couple minutes, I wanted to touch again more of why we do what we do, because we talked about your history. We talked about your family, and that's really what keeps you grounded and keeps you aspiring. It also takes the team. You two cannot cook every dish. You two cannot touch every guest. It's an impossibility. Too often we try and we fail. And so cultivating people is so important. So you had a couple people on your team that you highlighted. I'm so grateful for that. So I want to just take a moment, as we so often do, and just acknowledge some people. So got Andrew behind the scenes here. Pop some people's names up that we're working with you guys currently. Bill, who's Bill? I love it. I can't wait. I'm excited about Bill just from your reaction.
I reference Bill as the booth mother. He's very welcoming and warm. And he's actually really good with a guest. He has extremely good soft skills. He understands our concept very well. And he has a personal passion for the food itself, which I find is extremely important. And so he can convey, he's much better at conveying our passion to people when we're not there, you know?
Your chef who just said soft skills. I want to hover on that for a moment, because we suck at soft skills. We are so about execution, about delivering, about only as good as the next plate type scenario, about to the window in 30 seconds. All of these intense moments of and soft skills, just they are not enough a part of the conversation. So, man, I really appreciate you mentioning that, because I think the strength in restaurants is the soft skills. It's the only thing that keeps us going, because this shit is hard. And if we don't have, it's
the people, right?
The booth mother. That is amazing. Right when you said that, I think of a little Chinese lady on a pink plastic stool at her hawker stand, just like crushing it out. That's the booth mother. I love that. All right, who's somebody else that we got lined up here? Amanda. Who's Amanda?
Amanda is a girl that we hired, one of our first hires. And when we met her, I hired her on the spot. Like, she came in with like full-blown smile. She's like, I just love like working in the kitchen. Like, I love baking. I love cooking. I want to learn. And I was like, she didn't really have a lot of skill sets in the kitchen from what we've heard, but it's just her passion. Like, it touched us. And we're like, we're going to hire you. We want you on our team. And she's been an integral part of Meta's growth. Like, you know, our dumplings are one of our top sellers. Like, we never have enough. And like, we can always rely on her to do dumplings. She's an aspiring pastry chef. So like, now we've given her some hours to focus on doing some pastry so we can have some dessert items. So like, we really want to focus on letting our staff be creative. And we love that our staff also, you know, wants to bring that into the kitchen, you know, that she's not just coming here to grind and whatever. She's, you know, here to work, to learn, to contribute. So yeah, we love her.
Yeah, and
contribute, great word.
Yeah, and she wants to contribute, so we want to give her an opportunity to pursue her passion. You know, like prior to COVID, you know, we were just kind of grinding it out and stuff like that. And during COVID, we kind of talked about thinking about our roster and the strengths of each of our employees. And we know that Amanda is an aspiring pastry chef. So like, all right, well, you know, she gives us hours to work. Why don't we give her hours to be a pastry chef? And so we've given her a chance to, you know, do these amazing strawberry cream puffs that we're selling now, and they're so good. And
we try not to eat them.
every week she gets better and better. I see it, I taste it, and as long as I see progress, like then I'm gonna give her all the runway she needs.
That's so important, because as leaders, recognizing that they don't work for you, you work for them, right? It's your job to empower them and make Amanda and allow Amanda to be the best version of herself, to coach and push and critique and all those things. But it's creating the space, and the two of you have the strength and resilience as entrepreneurs to create that space. So I appreciate that. We got two more people I want to just touch on really quick. Who's Emmanuel?
Emmanuel's a banger too.
Yeah.
I'm so lucky to have him, Emmanuel. He still works at Rioja. I know a restaurant that's kind of well known in the Denver area. But I think for him, he's looking to kind of learn and expand his repertoire. He's from Detroit, but spent most of the time in Mexico. And he has a passion for food. He wants to be a chef one day. I think he kind of wants to be like us. His wife's also into the
owner. You mean?
Yeah. Well, yeah. He wants to be an owner. And his wife's also into the food and beverage. She wants to be a pastry chef, and he's a chef. And I think he really wants to see what we're doing and be a part of it. And I love Emmanuel. He's not your typical kind of line guy. He likes to like chit chat and talk about things that are important. Like he doesn't want to like talk like shit, He wants to, so like, how was your weekend? And like he really means it, Like,
he met Cochinita for Mexican Independence Day.
Cochinita's Pabil, it was amazing. Really,
yes,
yeah.
I'm a big fan of everything you're saying right now. All right, one last person we want to touch on before we get you guys out of here.
Luz, man, she's a nutty girl. I love this girl. When we hired her, we weren't sure how she was going to work out, but she's one of our like line beasts. So like she works on our bao bun station, and like our bao bun station gets slammed.
Furious.
Grinding out, pushing out those bao buns. She loves basketball, and like no one in the booth is really into basketball. So like her and Chef are just talking about basketball all the time. And then, we noticed that she's really good at expediting too. So we've given her some opportunities to expedite. It's so crazy to see someone that like we weren't sure how she was going to kind of grow in our kitchen to basically like flourishing and thriving in the kitchen. She's expressed to us that she's not interested in being a line cook. So we're not going to make her a line cook, but like all the other stations, man, she's banging it out. She's good.
This is great. This is why we do what we do. Now, myself and all of us have been introduced to 4 more amazing unsung hospitality heroes, the people that make it happen. And I can just see from your energy, the excitement that you have getting to talk about them. That's what matters. We spend so much time, again, getting churned up in the minutia. But why the hell are we doing this? This is why. Because your family represents something important to you. Because each other, you push and balance out each other, and then your team. That's why we do what we do. Because again, this industry is crazy. There is no good reason to get into this industry unless you have these very fundamental things, because it's not a good business decision as it stands currently. The system is so fucked up. We have so much work to do to create this new opportunity. Yet everything that you just said is so compelling and inspiring. That's why we do what we do. That's why the two of you are here. That's why I'm so excited that everybody gets to kind of siphon some of your superpowers, and for the two of you to be able to siphon some superpowers from this whole process. I really appreciate that. If we can help at all to put you in slightly a better position to succeed, that Emmanuel and Amanda and Bill and Luz have the opportunity to thrive, well, to me, that's so worth fighting for. So I'm really, again, grateful to the two of you, to everybody for interacting. So we'll let you guys go, and we're going to wrap for just a second with the audience. I'm going to kind of lay out the schedule for them a little bit. Appreciate the two of you so much, and we'll be talking a lot more. Cheers.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. So as mentioned, this is a 10-week series. Every Thursday, 2 p.m. Eastern time, 12 Mountain, 11 Pacific. We are going to be on with Ken and Doris. Each week, we'll be bringing in a couple guests who are expert in their space to coach them through the entire process of the things that it takes to think about the new opportunity in restaurants, how we're developing our brands, how we're telling our stories, how we're becoming strategists and tacticians in this industry, the business model, the financials, the entire ecosystem of partnerships and learning that it takes to actually succeed. So tune in every week for Ken and Doris's journey for the evolution of Meta Asian Kitchen. And I hope for all of you in this industry, you feel some connection to their story, to their successes, to their struggles, and that it creates an opportunity for you also to be able to kind of bring your own journey, vision, dream to fruition in a practical and creative way in what we think comes next. That is it for this episode. We will see you in the next installment of Best Served New Volume 1 with Meta Asian Kitchen. Thanks for tuning in. Cheers.